Hello, this is Stephen with The Curious Life, and today I'm talking with Daniel from Uganda. Daniel was a former student of mine when I taught high school math in Uganda many years ago. The name of the school was Cornerstone, and you might notice us mention that from time to time. But he has had quite the story since, and that's what we unpack today. Between being left for dead by robbers and getting to go to Albania for university, his life has had quite the highs and lows. You can see in his story many social trends in Uganda, like difficulties paying for adequate medical care, but also how he uses his mission to grow his community. And with that, let's get started. Yeah, how are you?
Fine, Steven. Doing well so far.
That's good.
Well.
That's good.
Yeah. Steven, I was raised from Uganda, mostly from the eastern part of the country. And I was raised from a family of 7 children. And I am the fifth born. And by name, I'm Daniel Okitoi. So I was raised from the family. And I can say that my family was polygamist. So my dad had 2 women. So my mom was second wife. So that's why I was raised from. Yeah. And currently I'm in Eastern Uganda.
Interesting. Was your dad around, or were you basically raised by your mom?
At the age of 10 years, that's when I lost my dad.
Oh no.
It's now 10 years. So I lost my dad at the age of when I was 10 years. And I also lost my mom in 2024.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's why I lost her. Yeah. But all those years, around 20 years, around that, wow. I was now being raised by my mom. Yeah.
Wow. What happened to your dad and what happened to your mom?
My dad is kind of a sickness. He just fell sick in a short time. I think for 3 days, and passed on. In fact, I was in the town where we used to live, and he had gone back to the village. So, and he fell sick, and I never saw him again.
Oh no!
So So then my mom just, I think I last talked to my mom. It was on Easter Monday. So Easter Sunday, she called me that, you know what? Could you come back to the village and help me to do some work? I'm like, okay, mom, tomorrow I'll come. So on Easter Monday, from nowhere, my brother called me the Lord. Mom fell sick and she passed on. It was kind of abrupt.
Wow.
So that's
That is abrupt. Do you know what happened? What was wrong?
I think from the doctors, because she was rushed to the hospital. I think it was kind of heart attack, kind of that. Because she was okay, but from nowhere she felt like she wasn't well, and she went and rested a bit, and from nowhere it just went off. Kind of fainted and just rushed. By the time people realized we were there with her, it was too late, and they rushed her to the hospital because her body temperature was still a bit warm.
Okay.
Like maybe she's still,
You said maybe what? What body temperature?
Yeah, the temperature was still warm, the body.
Okay.
But she had already passed on. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. How do you feel? So, did she know she was sick, and potentially going to die when she told you to come back and do some work? Or do you think that was before she knew this was going to be the end?
Now, I think we believe that sometimes people communicate when maybe something going to happen to them.
Yep.
Probably that's why she called me. Yeah. So, but she was not sick, actually. I feel like it was kind of, yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That can definitely happen. The closest parallel I had to that was when I was in college. This was before I went to Nakasangala in Uganda, a couple years before. My grandfather, we were on holiday, and my grandfather, we just turned out he collapsed, and he had stage 4 skin cancer, melanoma, which is like one of the more aggressive cancers out there.
Okay.
And at this point, like, you don't really come back from this one. Like, whatever stage it was going to kill him. And he knew this. He actually was a doctor, so like medically, he knew what he had, and he had accurate medical knowledge. But he didn't tell us until basically he collapsed one day, and it was like, we need to go rush to his part of the U.S. It's pretty far away. Like, it's maybe a similar distance Uganda is from, I don't know, Angola. Like, it's several thousand kilometers. So we were in Pittsburgh. He was in Texas, in El Paso, Texas. We flew there. My brother and I kind of gave our last goodbyes, and then that was it. We were able to say our last goodbyes, but like your mother, he was fatally sick and then didn't tell us. He actually, my older brother, who was like a month before, had graduated from university. It was the first time. It was my older brother was his first grandkid who had graduated from university. Education was a big deal for him. I think one of the most important things he gave to us was to emphasize the importance of education. By us, I mean us grandkids. And he came to see the graduation of his first grandkid. It was a really big highlight for him. And he knew he had this cancer, and he knew he wasn't going to make it. But the whole family was there, and he decided not to tell us because he wanted to make that event about my brother, not about him. And this can be common with people who are older. They can choose not to. Sometimes they don't tell us. How did this make you feel?
I think for the case of my mom, normally we tend to take time to go for regular medical checkups. We find it's kind of expensive. That's why most of us people work with kind of chronic diseases in the bodies. But you really feel like you're not okay, but you feel like pushing. So it's kind of not a culture to some people here to always go for medical checkups. So, my mom, I lost her now at the age of 70 years. That's when she passed on. It's unfortunate that my dad, I lost him at the age of, he was 55 years. So, but it's not always common for people to go for regular checkups here. Unless they have the money to do that. But until they fall sick, that's when they'll say, okay.
Yeah. Go to hospital. This is very real. I mean, the checkups can be expensive. Would you say that you routinely do your checkups, or are you like, no, this isn't something I can budget into my finances?
I think it's something which is very important to do checkups. However, sometimes we find it expensive to do that. That's the challenge. I think this morning I was kind of feeling some headache. Like, okay, what could be the problem? And I remember I took kind of a cup of coffee. I like, maybe you can leave me, but I felt better a bit.
There you go. I hope you're okay. I hope the coffee helped. I hope that's not.
No, I'm okay because it was morning hours.
There we go. Yeah. I
Yeah,
actually did also have a time in the day where I felt a little weird.
yeah,
But in my case, I think it was because I took a medication for the first time, and I think it was just a side
okay,
effect. And I think my body was adjusting to it. But I felt like I had like a dizzy spell for a bit in the afternoon. Um,
yeah,
but why don't you? Maybe my final question before I broaden this is: do you
yeah.
think your mom's condition? Do you think if she had been able to more routinely see the doctor, do you think it could have been treated?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's very true. That's
Mm,
very true. Because she was always overwhelmed with work from the farm there, from her farm. So I'm sure if you often visited the doctors, they would have advised her what to do. And so in most cases, maybe she felt like, okay, I'm not fine. Let me rest a bit. They take paracetamol to relieve the body pain. Then they keep on what?
mm,
Working. But I still believe that if she used to visit the doctor, she would be okay by now.
mm.
She would still be alive. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Um, and it must have been very difficult to not to try to go back and then not have been able to say the goodbyes, because by the
Yeah.
time you got there, she was already gone. So with that with that in mind, let's pivot to a less sad topic. What um, why don't you explain to people, like, what do you do? What's your background in, and what do you do over there in eastern Uganda?
Well, currently I am a cost controller
Hmm.
where I work, and I do train because the organization that I work from, we have three hotels,
Hmm.
and other two hotels I have the store clerks that I've trained to do the job. So they also report to me. They always update me on what is happening from the stock levels, everything. And also I try to manage all cost controlling for all city hotels. So
Hmm.
at least for now, I've trained something like that.
Interesting. Do you like it, or how is it?
Yeah, I really liked it because it's really more for managing budgets, making sure that all the expenditures align with the budget. It's all about analyzing the cost. Every day we do purchases, so I
Hmm.
must be able to analyze the trends of the purchases, the prices in the market. I also able to make sure that the costs are controlled in the production.
Hmm.
This production also in the kitchen areas, you have to be able to watch. But also we have to make sure that I always update the management about the trends, what is happening, the prices are increasing, and what am I trying to do to make sure that the costs align the budget. So it's all about tracking all the budgets.
Hmm.
So people have to align, all departments have to align with the budgets that we have. So every month we have its own budget.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah,
So what a bit of a broader question. You've lived in you are from, and you currently live in eastern Uganda. You've lived in other
yeah,
places. I know you from in high school for you, which was in central
yeah,
Uganda. You lived in
yeah.
Kampala for a bit. What's it like living in Uganda?
Uganda is a really very interesting country, and I lived in Kampala for a short time. Yes, I did. In high school, I was in Nakasongola, district called Nakasongola. Then I started working a bit in Kampala. I spent like a bit. Yeah.
Are there beaches in Kampala? You mean Lake
Yeah.
Victoria? So like in Tebe or Kampala?
Yes.
Kampala? No, in Tebe. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Because I'm like, there's no lake or ocean. Okay, keep going.
So I worked in Kampala. I stayed in Kampala a bit for some time, and so Kampala life in Kampala. When I stayed there, it forced me to step back to Eastern Uganda. Just basically one cost of accommodation is really, really high in Kampala setting. Transportation is crazy. Crazy. Jam, traffic is always much. Poor accommodation, and you pay expensively. And the worst part of it, what really happened to me was in 2023 when I was attacked by thugs.
Attacked by thugs? In Kampala?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I was attacked by robbers on the way I was getting back home.
On the way home.
I worked, my shift was an evening shift that I had to leave workplace at around 10 p.m.
Okay.
So as I was moving back home, I was attacked at the place where I lived.
Wow.
So it injured me, and I had to go through an operation, brain surgery. But it really almost took my life off.
Yeah.
And now I will not be there. So it really. So I felt like the city was not safe.
Mm-hmm.
I really felt like I was now overwhelmed with some fear. I feel like why did this happen to me? So I had to step back. So I had to move back to my own town in Soroti, where I stayed a bit for a few months. Unfortunately, again, actually, maybe one thing I forgot to tell you is that currently I have a small family. I'm now father. So, I had to make sure that, okay, I have a family. What should I do? When I sit down, what is going to happen?
To be clear, when you were robbed, you still had the family. This wasn't before you had the family. Your family.
Yes, yeah. I had a family now. I had one kid by that time. So when they robbed me, I had to take a step back. Okay? Because I had went to meet the hospital bills, everything. So I moved back to Soroti. And that time, my mind was really troubled. What really happened to me? I attempted actually to cross to Nairobi in Kenya, trying to look for a job there. And I got a small job there. It could not have good payment that could sustain my family back home. So I had to come back. That's when I came back to Eastern Uganda, in currently Uganda. So of course, I had to really see how to support the family. Yeah. That's why I really left.
Yeah, this makes sense. I mean, the one time I got robbed, I didn't approach that whole city the same way again. And I basically got out of that place as much as I can. Now, that was when I was traveling, so I didn't live there, so I didn't need to move. But I planned to stay there for a couple days, and I'm like, nope, I'm getting out. It kind of messes with your brain. You have to adjust, and it's like, I don't want to be in that environment again. I could absolutely understand that. Did you what happened with the robbers? So at the time, did they steal your phone, your money, or what?
So actually what happened here is that in the night when I was attacked by the rich robbers, they really beat me mercilessly. in a way that they left me almost half dead.
Oh no.
And yeah, because they were moving with the shapangas. Actually, they moved with the motorcycles. In Kampala, we call them bodabodas.
Yeah, the bodabodas.
So
Okay.
So they moved.
We might call them motorbikes. But keep going.
Motorbikes. So when they attacked me, no one was there actually to rescue me. It was an area whereby they're closed. All the gates are enclosed. It's called Muyenga in Kampala. So all the area is enclosed with doors, with gates. So no one could actually come rescue me until one of the persons, the neighbors, actually heard someone crying outside. Like, what's happening from outside? That's when they came. But these guys had beaten me up, injured me with a panga, so I had a deep cut here on my head. Even this hand was broken, so I could feel them taking the all. I had 2 phones.
Wow.
And some money that I had in my pocket, they left. They took everything, yeah.
Wow.
And yeah.
It just,
so that means...
Oh, sorry. Actually, I'll say this real quick, just for anyone who's unclear. Mbanga is like a machete. It's like a large knife, maybe about this big, because that's a bit of a Ugandan phrase. Other people might not know it, but keep going.
So it's only that the landlord that I used to stay with, they got concerned about my life at that point because I was just in the pool of blood, and they had to rush to me in the nearby hospital. That's Sambe Hospital in Kampala, where they really gave me some first aid. But really, the following day, they had to make sure that I had to go through surgery, the brain surgery.
Oh no!
And it really traumatized in a way that if you don't have money, your life ends there.
Yeah.
In Uganda, if you don't have money. So you'll find that the doctors needed like 7 million Ugandan shillings.
Wow.
Before they start any operation. Good enough, luckily, still, the friends around in Kampala helped me out, and the one that really stood with me helped me out, raised money for me to get treatment, quality treatment. Yeah, so it was really not really easy for me and my family. So really tough, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. Brain surgery is not cheap. For context, for anyone, in terms of U.S. dollars at the moment, this might not have been the conversion back then. 17 million. Sorry, you said 7 million, right?
7 million, but that was a down payment.
That was a down payment. So that's about that's close to 2,000. That's about $1,905 in USD.
But the final treatment, I walked out with 13 million.
How much?
13 million.
30. After
13 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's about 8,000. We'll say about 8,200. Or 8. Yeah. Wow. I mean, like even by U.S. standards, that's a bit expensive. But like brain surgery is not cheap. Like in terms of medical expenses, it might be the highest. It's one of the highest, definitely.
Yeah.
So your friends were able to raise money for you. Maybe for context, if you're up for disclosing it, how much at the time did you make? What was your salary?
By the time my salary was about $125.
$125.
Yeah.
Per month or per year?
Yeah, every month.
Every month.
So what I did is that where I was employed, in the second month, again, I was hired from one of the areas again in Kampala to be a supervisor for the hotel. So it gave me, that was all paid, they were all paying me $125 plus another $125. So I was handling 2 jobs at a time. That was, the kind of job I had at that time. Yeah.
Wow.
So I had 2 jobs. Yeah.
Wow. So maybe for context, if it was in USD about $125, then the down payment alone would have been your entire annual salary, and then the amount of the total would be about 4 to 5 years of your annuals. 4 to 5 years, according to that salary, which is like an astronomical amount of money. Like you're looking at like $1 million in the US. That might be the equivalent for people. I'm kind of ballparking that for like what that would mean based on US salaries if you did the same math. Wow. So your friends helped you raise that money. How did they do that?
So when the friends got to know about the scenario that happened to me that night, my high school organization, that is Cornerstone, they came in quickly and started mobilizing the funds to help me out. The hotel that I worked from, they also pulled the 1 million Uganda shillings also on top of that. Then also my family they had to sell what they had at the time to see how to raise money that they needed. First of all, the 7 million that they needed urgently, so they had raised. Then the other friends from Kampala who knew me, they had to keep on coming in, visiting me in the hospital, and they could contribute some money. That's how they helped me out. Yeah. But Cornerstone really played a very big role for me.
Yeah. Good for them. I mean, I was actually I was going to almost ask you if Cornerstone was involved in that. So Cornerstone is the school that I taught at and that you went to high school at. This is how we met, and then and I know that they had helped some other people who were in difficult medical situations that needed more intensive surgery like this. Good for them. Was the loan? So if it's a loan, like, have you been able to pay it back, or how long do you think that process will take to be able to pay it back?
Well, I think it will take me a lot of time to pay to money, because 13 million Uganda shilling, that's around, it will really take me time because I have never passed by $125 Uganda shillings as my take home. No. That is salary. That's the kind of job I've been able to have. Not because I don't have qualification, but Uganda doesn't have a minimum wage.
So
anybody.
So you're saying that your job at that time, that was $125 a month, that's the highest paid job you've had?
Highest paid.
Yeah.
$125. Which, I'm still struggling with it. Yeah.
I mean, even according to that salary, you're looking at something that's like 4 to 5 years of your annual salary to pay. But obviously, like, you have to live, so you can't just be like give all the money to that, because then you don't have food for your family. So you like, even best case scenario there, you could be looking at 10 to 20 years in that salary to pay that back. But if you're paid even less, it's going to take even longer. Yeah, that's a very big loan.
Yeah, that could be it would, yeah, it could still, yeah, I know it could still take me time to pay because every day you have other expenses to meet. That means it was like kind of a job, kind of having a job. That means every month they could be deducting for the next couple of years
Mm,
to finish out. Yeah,
yeah.
it will still take time.
So let me take a step back in terms of the chronology here. So this happened, you were going home. So it was, your shift ended at 10. So it was sometime after 10. You had a period where you were on the side of the road, kind of barely alive. Eventually somebody from like a neighbor came out of there, was able to help you. How long did that take until you got help? And then how long did it take till you got to the hospital? But then when they were like, you need surgery, how long did it take before you were able to figure out this is, to be able to muster this amount of money, kind of secure and secure with Cornerstone and your friends and everyone, that you were able to pay for it? Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
this can take days to organize. Did you have to wait to get your surgery, or what's the chronology here?
So by the time I was attacked, it took, people normally have fear to come out of their houses too, but the neighbor really got concerned for them to come out. And it took me again some kind of like 1 hour when I was still bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the people got really concerned that, you know what, this guy shouldn't die here.
Mm-hmm.
So the people, the landlord and others, they were worried that I shouldn't die in the compound. Okay? I'd rather die in the hospital than dying in the compound. Okay? Maybe
So they wanted you gone. They wanted you out.
They never wanted that. So, the neighbors really got concerned that this guy should be taken to the hospital. Actually, I remember at that time when I was still, I remember telling them, please take me to the hospital. Take me to the hospital. So I could cry like that. Take me to the hospital. That's what I could tell them. So but they took time because they had to look for the vehicle to come pick me up. So the first hospital they took me, they refused. They said, no, we can't handle this case. Okay? They can't really handle this case. So that's when they rushed me to another hospital, Zambia Hospital. So where I remember very well, they gave me first aid, cleaned up the blood, removing everything. But at that point, I could not remember anything again. I was now off. But I also remember that they used 455,000 Uganda shillings for the first aid that night. So my landlord...
That's probably about $2.
Yeah. 55. 400. It was 400.
Oh, 400. Oh, 455. Yeah. Then that's a little more than $2. Yeah. That's...
Yeah.
$8, $10, maybe $20.
Yeah, that was first aid. So my landlord picked the money, and I think I remember by the time I came out from the hospital, I paid him back the money. Okay, but it also took me the following day. The doctors were like, "No, what? We need the money first for the surgery to take place to happen." Okay. So the surgery was supposed to start either by midday, but it took my friends and the family to raise the down payment of 7 million. So actually, I was operated at 6 p.m. evening hours now.
The following day.
Yes. So they needed to see the money first. So when the money came, that's when they started working. Then the operation now took that night. The following day. That means the first aid was just keeping me alive a bit. Then when the money arrived, that's when they started operating me. So that means
sorry, keep going.
that means if I didn't have money that time, maybe it was not easy for me. Yeah.
How long do you think
Maybe.
the first aid could have kept you alive?
Yeah.
I said, how long, if you didn't have the money, how long do you think the first aid, how long do you think that what they've given you while you were waiting for the surgery, how long do you think that could have kept you alive?
I don't think that would take long.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think that it will take long because all these guys, I saw most of the patients who were rushed to that hospital. If they didn't have money, they were rejected from the hospital. They had to move out.
Yeah.
That
they
means
would kick you out.
Yeah. If you had money, you get service. No money, no.
There you go.
Yeah.
This does remind me of a friend of mine who this week, like 2 days ago, she's from Mexico. Her mom got like very sick, also in a way that like she needed some advanced surgery, and they didn't have the money, and they said, if you give us blood, we'll accept blood instead of money. And so like she and her, so not her because she had just had the surgery, but her kids, so my friend, and then her siblings were like donating blood, which that's a different conversation. I have really mixed feelings about that. It feels somewhat like a Mad Max movie where they're like donating blood for money basically, and you now have like I asked her, like, I'm like, are they vampires? Like they just really want blood, but like this is this can be a thing because they were going to turn her out, and she also would have died if she had turned out because of the issue that she was having. It was a life-threatening issue. So your friends were able to secure all this in 7 hours. So they must have been able to get there. That must have been a very busy day. Were you kind of were you in and out of consciousness, or were you kind of fully aware of what was going on?
I was only aware when they were giving me the first aid only.
Okay.
But after a short time, I was just unconscious until full day. I was half dead.
Yeah.
Full day, half. Yeah. Until when they finished the whole surgery, that's when I started coming back to my senses.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think if you had gotten the surgery more sooner, that you would have had like? Do you think your condition would have been significantly better off? How would that have changed your health if you had gotten it, say, that night or something like that? Like what? Right when you got to the hospital.
But I think, of course, I would have gotten the service at the right time. But just thank God that still, even if the money came late and they were able to do it, just thank God that my life was still rescued. There were some qualified doctors, really qualified from Mulago Hospital that worked in Sambe Hospital. And it was led by Dr. Joel, and he was really an experienced man. Yeah, and they really helped me out, and he believed in what in the job they did for me. And every time they could visit me in the ward, they really had confidence that I was going to be okay first. And up to now, I have never felt any problem. That ever since for now, like 2 years, 3 years.
That was what I was going to ask. That's good.
Very okay.
Yeah, this could have gotten a lot worse. There were multiple chunks. It seemed like it was less ideal, but like you could have also not survived on the street. Someone couldn't maybe did if someone didn't come to help you. The hospital could have not had the right care for that, not had the facilities for that kind of brain surgery, or not been able to provide it. You could have not procured the money. A lot could have gone south here. What was the recovery period like? Like, how long did it take you until you felt like you were like a decently normal person, able to kind of go about your day?
It took me like a bit 3 months.
Wow. Okay.
3 months. So, but also still, in the 3 months, whenever you operated, you go back to become like kind of a baby. I felt like I was like kind of a baby again.
What do you mean?
Because one, I could not speak well. The time, I could not remember very well. I remember the doctors had asked me that, what is the day today? It was a Saturday, but I said it was a Saturday. So I could not write very well again. I remember when I came out of the hospital, I had a laptop at home. I tried to maybe to type like this. I could not, my fingers were weak. I could not really manage to type a laptop, and even the writing my own name, I could not. So I remember also still in the hospital, I wanted to tell my friend that please tell the doctor about this, but I was a bit mute. I could not speak out. When I tried to write, I could not write. And I remember showing them, actually I wanted to tell them that please ask the doctor, why am I not able to speak? Okay? So I remember telling them to get for me a Bible. So when they got for me a Bible, I went to the book of Acts. That's when I got what? The word of tongues. So I was telling them some kind of sign language that I'm not able to speak. So, but again, that's when they understood. So it took me really 3 months, and the advice from the doctor was take plenty of water, take plenty of juice. So all those things needed money every day to keep me. So I needed money to take care of me when I was still at home. So for 3 months, had no job. My wife was working. She also lost a job because she came to the hospital for just a full month to take care of me, and she lost. So we all there, we had the bills, house, rent, everything, water. We actually could not manage to keep up staying in the house we used to be in. So at the end, we had to shift to a simple house that we could manage. But in the 3 months, that's when I felt like the family was struggling. They needed still me. That's when I moved to Nairobi in Kenya, trying to look for a job, but I was not feeling okay. But I had to force myself to move. So it took me maybe 4 months, yeah. Be fine.
This is quite the story. Yeah, I'm glad you're with us, and it seems like you've had a full recovery too.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at the top of your head. Maybe they're hidden, but I don't even see scars. This can be a thing that some people in this situation have.
No, but I have a scar here.
Here?
So when you come close to me, you'll find that I have a scar here, kind of round scar. So it was a kind of a full surgery that moved all of it.
Okay, so it's just not on camera. Got it. So you angle yourself well, I guess. My other question for you on this specific thing was, what do you feel like in this experience? What do you feel like you learned about yourself, about humanity or society, or about we'll say about God in this process? Like, what do you feel like you learned in this about any of those?
Actually, when that scenario happened to me, I really feel like we're in an environment whereby we're not all that secure, not really secure. Sometimes you tend even not to be secure with everybody who's around you. You don't know their next plan they have for you. Sometimes it's supposed to be in a society whereby we live to trust each other, but when such scenario happens to your life, you tend not to trust again anymore. Too much trust. Yeah, you just feel like you start living with fear. You know? Start living with fear. As you feel like someone is spying your life. No? Someone is following your life. That's what I feel like. And I just feel like you don't have to trust anymore so much. You know?
Yeah.
That kind of fear.
Yeah, this makes total sense. I mean, I don't know the mindset of these specific robbers, but part of me, I suspect, or I wonder if they were trying to leave you for dead, if they were trying to kill you, if they're like, we're going to go for his head, we're going to go for this, we're going to take his money and go, so he can't identify us later for whatever reason, and you in some ways just got lucky. So being cautious, like, I think too much fear of others can lead to bad things, both bad behavior for individuals, but also bad aspects of society. But also a certain amount of fear is very justified, especially if people literally attack you in this way, almost kill you. So a certain amount of it is good. It's because it's self-protective, and that's important. It helps us meet our needs, which is our need for safety and security. Or what do you think? As you've been kind of wrestling with this fear in the year since, how do you wrestle between how has it been processing this fear, and then how has it influenced how you see others, and what do you see as the good or the bad aspects? Like, how do you navigate all this?
First of all, in the current job that I have, one of the things when I was accepting the job offer, I never wanted to work like evening shifts again. Because I felt like you're kind of insecure. But we can still navigate in a society where we live in. We can still trust people. Not everyone is bad in the community. In the society, not everyone is bad, really bad. I think we just need to be kind of but again, in a community whereby people should know you, very important. How you live, people should know you. Don't isolate yourself in the community. That's one thing I've really kept on learning. People in your community, whether you live in you visit the community and you happen to settle in that area for a while, people should know you. Okay, even the local chairperson of the area should always know you. Very, very important for you to interact with the community. Again, fear should not just overwhelm you. You should be able to know that it's the right time for me maybe to be at home, it's the right time for me to be at work, So fear should not be, again, the biggest problem. But what I think is that people should know you in the community. Very important.
I do think community is the ultimate answer to this type of fear, at least fear of people, fear of people harming us, because we get safety in community. As I've been traveling the world, that's something I've learned over time, is that like actually earlier today, someone was asking me, she's like, you've been traveling for the last 2 years, you've been traveling all these countries. She's like, how do you stay safe? And I say, there's specific things I do. I've had to learn that, kind of keep my eye out in certain cities and stuff. But the real thing is safety is through community. Safety is really a relationship. It's about embedding yourself into the relationships of that community. And what that might look like will vary widely on the culture. Different cultures have different ways of doing that, and that's great. But it's really about embedding yourself into the relationship. Like, if I'm in a foreign city, I've been in cities that are a bit questionable, and people will be very quick to tell me, "Hey, do this. Hey, we're gonna go together because I want to make sure you're okay." Like, people look out for each other. I think safety really happens in community. Or, what do you think?
That is true. Yeah, safety it's in the community. Like I said, in a community whereby you need to build relationships. I remember when I was still in Kampala, one of the things, normally when people are in the cities, they tend to live their own lives. But I remember me going to one of the local chairpersons of the area to register myself. And he was so excited to see me doing that. Like, you're the right person. You're trying to secure yourself. You're trying to make yourself known in the community. Okay? You're trying to make sure that people around you know you and you get to know them. In that way, you feel like you're kind of secure in a community. You feel like. Yeah? So it's very important. So even currently while I stay here, I'll try to make sure that you try to build relationships. Everywhere people know you, they should know you. No? Very important. You shouldn't have to isolate myself, staying alone. No. Can't help. You're actually insecure in yourself. Very important.
This makes total sense. I also wanted to ask you, this is actually a question that a friend of mine in Indonesia asked me. And so I now ask others. It's kind of one of those questions that can make you think a little bit. If you could choose to be born anywhere in the world, would you choose to be born in Uganda?
I think that's a very interesting question.
Isn't it? It's a thinker. Yeah. What do you think?
It's really a very, very interesting question because I bet in Uganda, if you asked that question, probably 97% of Ugandans will tell you that I would rather be in Europe, America, not Uganda.
That's
I
fair.
feel like she's not working.
Are you in the 97%?
So, well, if I'm to think about where I would be born, first of all, I know that there's a reason why God gave me to be born here in Uganda. The big plan from God, not my own self, and born to particular parents at the right time. So, I still believe that it's okay. I will still choose to be Uganda.
Okay.
But one thing I know is Uganda has many opportunities. They have opportunities. Uganda is an amazing country. I will still choose to be Uganda, to be born in Uganda. All that, most of the successful people in Uganda, you must be maybe they're from well-off families that have been okay, can strive. But to certain extent, even me, I would be among the 97. But yeah, but I still believe that there's a reason why God blessed me here in Uganda. Yeah, I still choose Uganda. Yeah.
I mean, fair enough. What do you see as I'm trying to think of how to phrase this question. So
Yeah.
I'm going to phrase it in the way I thought it was just going to be like one of the most epic ways to phrase it. So you can kind of break it down if need be.
Yeah.
Which is, what do you feel like are some of the biggest gifts you've had by virtue of where you've been in life? And sorry, I had is the wrong verb. I meant, what do you feel like are some of the biggest gifts you have offered based on where you are in life at that time?
Could it be what are the opportunities where I am? Or
So what I actually mean, so your
Yeah.
point before was that you feel like God had a reason for having you be in Uganda. And I was kind of making I guess I was making kind of a logical jump as to what type of that reason might be. The thought was that, in my mind, was that you have something to offer by virtue of being in Uganda and being in the specific places in Uganda that you are. You know, Eastern Uganda, and then in Kampala when you're in Kampala, Cornerstone and Nakasangala when you're there. And I was asking, and I was kind of making a jump based off of that, which the question was, what do you feel like have been some of the biggest gifts that you have offered based off of where you've been in life, like physically where you've been in life?
Thanks, Stephen. As I say that there's something God has for us, and when He created us and blessed you in a certain part of the world, there's still something that He wants you to do. First of all, there's a lot I have to do. It is very Uganda. Many people, yes, I am sure that yes, if I chose to live, maybe to born in another country, maybe it would be okay. But also staying, being in Uganda here, being born in Uganda, I have a lot to do. Sometimes when I sit down and I see most of the life our communities are living here in Uganda, I sit down and say, okay, maybe I could be one of the changers of our community. Maybe I could be one of the person who's going to relieve some burdens, who's going to improve the education setting of the society, of this community. Maybe I could be. So I really feel like, to me, there's a concern that I find it myself. Okay, right now, I have a concern in myself that whenever I look at some people who have not yet gone far, like in education, I feel like I can do something. Still, first of all, I can assure you that in my family, I am the first person to get a college degree. My family, a college degree. And when I look back in my community,
and real quick, are you as of now the only one in your family to have gotten a college degree, or have others in your family gotten a college degree since?
No. I am the only person who has.
You're the only person. All right, keep going.
Okay.
Congratulations.
So right now, in my community right now, when I look at most of the parents struggling to educate the kids, I feel like I have knowledge and I have to do something about that. Recently, I was thinking about, okay, what can I do this? What can I do that? And actually, we started recent, me and my wife, we have like about 20 kids that were offering kind of scholastic materials. We just decided, okay, these are kids from the struggling families in the village, and we just felt like, okay, can we buy for them books and pens? That's what we've been doing. So we've been trying to, about 20 children, kids who are going to school. We know that family is really struggling. We've been trying to buy a scholarship material for them just to go to school. We just feel like, and we have built some relationships with them in a way that we keep on visiting the families and encourage them to understand this value of education. So I feel like it's something that, God still has for my life that I should extend. That's why I feel like there is still a reason why I'm in Uganda. You get concerned about what's happening in a community, in the society, particularly where I come from. You feel like you need to do something, you have to change. Because there's nobody who's going to come and do that if you can't sacrifice. So I don't have money, I don't have what, but you get concerned about the community, the affairs of the community. You get concerned about the lifestyle of the community. You just feel like if I could have this, I would do better. I could have better. Yeah. I feel like that's the kind of the gift maybe I could have to some of them.
Good for you. Yeah. I absolutely agree. I mean, education can transform individuals and communities. Maybe also starting with your family. I hope your kids will be second people who graduate with a college degree in your family, or second and third, or however many. But also, what this reminds me of, a lot of anthropologists will talk about how in many countries like Uganda, this can happen, where many of the highly educated people, they get frustrated with both maybe with aspects of the society, like things like corruption, but also with a sense that they don't feel understood and appreciated in their communities, and also with the pay of the jobs that they have access to. So what do? They leave. They go to different parts of the world. They go to the US, they go to Europe, and they make a lot of money, and maybe they send it back. But one long-term impact this has, when a lot of the people with college education leave, it's bad, because it's often good for them as individuals. But when all the people who are educated, or most of the people who have education, do this, it means that the community stays forever lacking in education, lacking in people with specific specialties. It can contribute, like the doctors leave, and then suddenly the country has a shortage of doctors, or maybe like a specific thing. Like, I'm glad that the hospital in Kampala had a brain surgeon, because in some places, that role, they leave. They go to the US, where they can make, by US standards, an incredibly good salary. Brain surgeons make a lot. And that person stayed. And that, if he didn't, he might not be alive. But this can have cascading influences on the community. The fancy word for it is brain drain. That's what the social scientists call this. Because the brains, the people with education, leave. They get drained from society. What are your thoughts?
One of the mistakes I can do is for me to get the opportunity outside Uganda and never to come back to Uganda. I feel like that's the mistake I can do. Yes, as you say, most of the Ugandan doctors, qualified doctors, you'll find them in South Africa, where since I feel like the high pay there, which is true. And then Australia, but I feel like, they feel like getting high pay. And
quick side there, but I was recently in Australia. I actually had a pretty bad medical issue for which I needed to see the doctor like every 2 days. It was a intense issue. I won't say the whole story, but I did talk to some doctors who were from different parts of sub-Saharan Africa who were living in Australia. So they could have been examples of this, not specifically Uganda, but other countries. But yeah, keep going.
So, so you'll find that one of the mistakes they can do is for me to leave Uganda right now, go to another country that I will pursue my career, profession, and stay there and kind of permanently become a citizen there, and I don't look back to Uganda. It will find that I really don't appreciate what God really placed me here. There's a lot of things that if I had opportunity right now, I would go, organize myself, and do a lot of projects here in Uganda. There are many communities here in Uganda that are really, really struggling. And one of the biggest things is health sector is struggling, education is struggling. So for me, getting the opportunity of being outside Uganda to build my career and profession is going to help the local communities in Uganda. I am lucky that I pursued my degree from Europe. From Europe, that's why I pursued my degree. And I felt like if I had opportunity to work in Europe, I felt like even up now, I would have changed most of the things in my community. That's what I feel like. And I started actually with my family. I want to start with my family, and I extend it. But there's a lot that is being demanded of me once I get opportunity. When I sit down and I see what is happening in my community right now, you just feel like if I go, I can give you an example. One of the person that really inspired me is Sadio Mane. Sadio Mane is the former footballer of Liverpool and is from Senegal. What sticks in my mind is that it was like when I left my country and I went to pursue my career in football in Europe, I need to get back to my community, go back to the hospital, schools, and that's what exactly he has done, and really benefiting the local community itself. And to me, that's one of the biggest things I would think about. I know sometimes we feel like when you get the opportunity of outside Uganda, you feel like, okay, I've arrived, let me enjoy my time, but you forget why God blessed you in another part of the world. So, very important. So for me, when I get an opportunity, I have to think about Uganda. Uganda is a beautiful country with the attractive investment that I can do. And I feel like you can do the investment and improve the local community. Welfare in the community. Very important.
Yeah, this makes total sense. I mean, it reminds me of I interviewed a guy. This is actually for a different channel. I actually put it on my blog. I'll send it to you later, and for anyone else, I'll put it down here in the note in the description. But he was from Ethiopia, and at one point he was talking about he also he got his PhD. He went to school in Europe. He lived in different parts of Europe. I can't remember where, but somewhere for many years. And he's like a lot of people who go get advanced degrees like this, go get their dissertations. They stay in Europe, and he's like, no. He's like, I came back. He's like, I came back because I wanted to build the community. And he was like, it's for him, he's like, it's a colonial mindset to say, I'm going to use this to escape. And he's like, I'm going to come back, even if it's hard, I'm going to come back. A question I have for you is, do you think at this point that going to a Western country or going somewhere else for a bit, whether it's a Western country or not, I guess, do you think that that would help you develop your skills to then be able to come back in a way that's more useful? Or, you know, what's your image for yourself in that way?
Steven, it's a really very interesting question, and I can assure you that if I move right now to Western countries, I'll benefit more this country right now. I'll be able to change.
Why?
So the dream I have in my community, as I said before, currently I and my wife, we have a couple of kids with the scholarship material that we are able to do. I feel like if I get the opportunity of growing my career in the Western world, growing my career, education, job, I know very well that if I remain here right now, I'll struggle to change. I'm going to be individualistic. I'll be thinking about myself because I'm looking at I have scarce resources. I just feel I will feel like I have limited resources even to extend my people. But if I had the kind of opportunity to grow my career outside Uganda right now, I can't forget these guys. Because when I look at where we grew up from, where even right now, when I look at where my people coming from, when I look at the housing situation facilities we have in Eastern Uganda, you think about that. It's like Uganda. It's like Uganda has two categories of people. Those ones who are totally born to be poor, which I don't believe in that. They're not born to be poor. They just need opportunity, which they're not offered. No one is giving them. Okay? Then there are those ones who are just born to be super rich and are not able to extend the wealth is surrounded within themselves.
It's saturated.
To me, I feel like if I remain in Uganda right now for the rest of my life, I won't do much. I'll struggle. But me moving out of this country right now is going to help me to build a career and be able to develop my community. And I believe it. And I'm already doing it. That's something that's motivating me right now. So I just need a little,
This makes total sense. I absolutely agree with you. In my experience in Uganda, one of the things I was struck with was the inequality. There's a lot of wealth in Uganda, but it's not distributed. And both certain people in Uganda get a lot of the wealth, and then also a lot of the wealth gets basically siphoned and shipped to, for example, Europe or other parts of the world. But a lot of people just are not born with they just don't get the opportunities, and it can be very sad because there's a lot of promise. It's just seeing promise get buried by sand, I guess. With the question I was going to ask you, which is about what you were saying at the end, what do you think? It sounds like you have a plan for your community. Like, what are the biggest ways that you think? What are the biggest things you plan to do to grow your community? Like, what's your plans or what's your thoughts there?
One of the plans, I can call them kind of goals that I have right now. One of the goals I have in life is that I am trying to pursue to grow the career Once I manage to grow the career professionally, I'll be able to be successful and change the rest. Secondly, one of the plans I have right now is I have to grow the social aspect of life. I have to really be concerned about the family. I shouldn't disconnect myself from the family. I shouldn't disconnect myself from friends. It's very important right now. So as I grow, as I have the goals of my life to expand, grow my career, and my career will come by growing my profession. Then you have good pay, when you do the job you can do. In that way, I should be able to come back also to sing about the shape, able to have sing about the short part of life, family, friends, and a community. But also, you now having a family, you must be able to still keep connected to God with your family, encourage them. The kids need to grow up morally in the community. They need to grow up as people who respect others in the community. So those are the kind of values that I have a lot now to do in life. So every day when I wake up in the morning, yes, I think about the job, think about career growth, I think about community, my family, friends, but also you have to really think about how are you going to raise kind of the kid you have to be morally upright in the community. Okay, they must grow up with values that really respect the community, that are going to become people who are going to change. So seeing that the kind of goals I have in my life right now, I really want to see that I change things, but I have to start changing myself. I can't really go and start changing someone's life when I have not changed myself. Okay? But I'm able to change my life right now. I have to go and think about changing the community, changing my family, changing friends' lives. Okay? So that's what I really have right now in my life. So every day I think about that. Sometimes you don't sleep well. You know? You sleep, but you feel like life is full of responsibilities. You know? You wake up in the morning, but you feel like life is full of responsibilities. And responsibility not all about yourself. You think about even others now. Yeah? That's how life is. Yeah.
What you're saying makes sense. I think there's a lot of power in what you're saying. You do have quite the story.
Yeah, it's been a long time also.
Yeah, I didn't realize you had such a vicious attack. That's quite the story. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's really something that I went through. I went through that, but that's the society we live, community we live. It's a kind of community we live. We have, but it's all about we getting used to navigating with the circumstances of life. When life throws you aside, you should be able to kind of the resilience. Life is all about you building resilience. Every day you have to be strong. You must be able to adapt to new life. To me is something I think about every day. You must be able to be resilient in the community. In all situations where life takes you, you must be resilient. Try to be strong. It is something that has really helped me every day. And has helped me every day. As we say that the community is something very important. I remember in my university, I studied from Albania. That's why I studied my university. I don't know
where in Albania?
So Albania is in Eastern Europe.
Yes. But that actually might be helpful because there are people here who might not know where Albania is. What I asked was where in Albania?
Oh, in Albania, I was in a city called Pogrades.
Interesting. Okay. Keep going. I know where that is.
So Pogrades is a city. I think I don't know the direction, but it's a city where your second city, then you move to another city called Kocha. Then in Kocha, you'll be entering Greece. Okay? So we are actually closer to Greece. Then from these other ends, just like a 5-minute drive, it's bordering Macedonia, North Macedonia.
Yeah, you're in the very northern part of Albania.
Yeah. So I remember we could always go to swim because just next to the lake, and we could either cross. Now our university was closer to the border of North Macedonia, so we could always feel like crossing the border, but we're not allowed to cross the border. But we could always enjoy it. Then from this side, I find myself. But what I really loved from Albania is also the culture of Albanians. It's a social culture, very interesting culture, and I feel like if Albania had many opportunities, maybe I would have stayed there. It's a very interesting culture, and people are really good, embracing, and I am a kind of an outgoing person, and always on weekend, I could find myself in the mountains. Albania is kind of a mountainous country. Yeah. So I could find myself in
I've been told by my friends who have lived there that it just is absolutely gorgeous, that the mountains are like amazingly beautiful.
It's a mountainous country, and it's kind of a small country.
Yeah.
Mountainous, and I really love moving to the villages.
Yeah.
And whereby these guys had never seen an African.
Of course.
They had never seen a black person there. So,
which, by the way, guess how I felt in Nakasangala? I was often the first white person, not at the school, but when I went around the town, the villages, I was often the first white person some people had seen.
Yeah. So I found myself riding around with my bikes to the mountain areas, the villages, and I got a friend of mine who could move me around with his motorbike around the villages around, and people were surprised to see this guy moving with a black guy, but these guys are friendly, very friendly. Albanians are friendly, the friendly country, and I really loved it. And they don't speak English, and me being kind of outgoing person, in this first year, towards second year, I was able to understand Albanian. I was able to speak Albanian, because I could find myself staying with them, mingling with them, and they were so welcoming. They could invite me to their houses, everything. We got out, some games and everything. And they're really friendly. It's a friendly country.
That's really awesome. I'm glad that you had the opportunity. I'm glad you had the opportunity to be the first Black people that people in the rural area saw, where they were friendly. That in some parts of the world that can go south in different ways.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you were able to experience this other part of the world, and it seems like you kind of learned a lot and grew a lot in this.
Yeah, it was really interesting learning, and of course, I also visited Germany for 2 weeks, and I could see the difference of the lifestyle of the Germans and Albanians.
Yep. The Balkans is generally considered a much poorer part of Europe. Yeah.
Yeah. The Balkan is kind of, maybe least developed, I can say. They're kind of least developed, okay? And the lifestyle, they're always kind of together. They embrace togetherness. The culture is strong compared to Germans. And because the 2 weeks I spent in Germany, I was in Berlin and Nuremberg, those two cities. I think I visited also Munich, but you could see the difference of the culture, whereby Germans are so strict, so strict, whatever I do. And actually, I did internship with the German companies, and they were really super strict. When you're going for work, by 8 you must be there. Okay? 8 in the morning, you must be there. Lunch hour by 1, you must leave the tools, go for lunch. Evening hours by 5, actually by 4:45, you must be preparing to close. By 5, you close and you move home. They're so strict compared to Albanians. Albanians were more so inclusive, too much of social life, could embrace themselves so much, compared to Germans. So those are the two cultures were really different. That's what I saw from there.
Interesting. How did you feel about the difference in development between Uganda and Albania, and then from Albania to Germany?
The different culture?
I meant the difference in terms of like economics, the difference in terms of like development between Uganda and Albania, and then from Albania to Germany.
As Albanians, I can say that Albanian people have much support from the government. They have much support. Maybe probably because they have a small population of 2 million, not 4 million, 4 million.
Only
4 million. Albania has a small population, around 4 million. So by that time, Uganda had around 45 million, 40 million.
Uganda is actually pretty densely populated.
40 million. So you'll find that economic situation of Uganda and Albania, for the government of Uganda to support the population, you really have to meet all the demands of the population. Really hard. And currently Uganda has 15 million. Currently. So by the time Albanians had full support from the government, and I could see people have the housing structures, facilities, they're really good for even the local people, even the kind of poor people in the villages of Albania. They have good housing facilities compared to Ugandans. When I look at their social services, I could see that every Friday, the elderly people in Albania, they could always go to the government offices and they get money. You can find them signing on the line, getting money to support them every week. They could get social support from the government, which is contrary to Uganda. Uganda, the government not able to do that. Now, when I compare Germany and Albania again, you'll find that Germany is a more industrialized country. I visited most of the German companies. They are really super industrialized. They move so fast. so far. No wonder Albania is closer to Germany also, not far. But you'll find that the economy of Albania is also kind of agriculture, not all that strong. So, and when I interacted with most of the Albanian young people, you'll find that most of them, they were eager to move to Germany. Most of them were looking for opportunity to go to Germany. They were leaving the country, Germany, and most of them, they moved to Germany and the US. Mm-hmm. And most of the families, Albanian families, most of the Albanian families in the US. Most of them. Most of them, during the, I think, the war between Albania and Turkey, the Ottoman rule, most of the Albanians fled the US. So I find that the biggest population again of the country is in the US.
Yeah.
Are the ones, supporting the country.
In New York City, I actually live near an Albanian community. This makes total sense. What do you, if you got, hypothetically, if you got a job in both Germany and Albania, and we'll say for the sake of argument, they're the same job, which would you prefer to live in?
I think the pay of Germany is high compared to Albania. Okay, and I would prefer Germany because of it's easier to get jobs, industrialized. I would prefer Germany, and of course, again, I had to see how to embrace the cultural aspect of the Germans.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be inclusive in the German. Now, the kind of not so much social like Albanians, but the economic situation, I would still prefer work in Germany and see how to find myself within the Germans. I'll still find myself, create relationships together.
Yeah, I could understand that. It seems like it would be better for you economically, be better for you financially, even if it's not as good of a fit culturally, even if Albania is the better fit culturally. So that makes sense within your larger goals. I think let's end on that. I think that's a good thing to end on. There's a lot of wisdom in this. Thanks for taking the time. It seems like you've had quite the life so far, quite the eventful life. I feel like we could probably you just have had quite the life experiences. I feel like we could fill like 10 books with your life experiences, and you're still young, and I feel like you're just getting started.
Yeah, that's true. But because sometimes we really think about that. Maybe if I had the opportunity before. Yeah, first of all, I just feel like I had an opportunity of education, which was good, and I really got quality education that helped me to navigate how it's helping me right now to navigate about my life. Education is very important. It's really shaped me very well. It's shaping me very well every day. And I consider it as the kind of education I got from college was really of good quality. And it was actually German-based dual system of education that was more for practically and theoretically. So much of the time I was in the class and practicals. So right now, what I do mostly, I find that I am able to navigate with life changes. So circumstances in life. You know? Where life throws you, I must be able to adapt to it. Where life is pushing me, I should be able to cope up. Yeah. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, this makes sense. I'm glad you have the power of education, and I'm glad you're putting it to good use.
Yeah.